We went over the rules in the dressing room. I want you to keep the fight clean at all times, protect yourself at all times, and what I say you must obey. Touch gloves, and good luck to both of you.
That really he's going to settle in. There isn't much body on John Brown to shoot for.
Ndou is getting up in years, but still seen as clearly the dominant fighter at 140 pounds. And never spends more than a week out of the gym. They are more widely spaced apart. It might become more difficult. To a young man for his age, his life has forced him to be.
Cotto's got to decide, how are you going to fight? Are you going to establish, look, this is my ring, no matter the size, move away from him.
Seemingly not quite able to make up his mind yet what he wants to do with Brown.
This undercard has put it that way.
And you know, it's funny. I was just sitting here thinking, looking for opportunities against Brown in an undercard fight. Now he begins to open up a little more, seemingly feeling as though he's solving the puzzle of Brown a little bit.
Brown had better stay real close, or if you're not, get far away.
After a first round that was so slow-paced, open this fight up a little bit. So Cotto's thrown a series of right crosses across the top.
And the crowd is getting restless.
And every time he mounts an attack, this guy hits him.
Top of the head, which is one of the ways that fighters hurt their hands.
All you got to do is ball your hand up tight.
There's the left hook.
A knockdown. You could see it was a semi-stiff jab, and he just fell over backwards. Bad balance in that case. Give Cotto credit for the knockdown.
Maybe that's a soft chin.
Your point about welterweight is entirely appropriate. Talk sometimes, George, about how power comes from the legs. Cotto has strong legs.
A couple of real stiff jabs from Cotto here.
Oh, now he's starting to put his punches together in bunches. Caught Brown up by the ear.
Brown seems not to have any idea of what to do with this man.
Well, if fighting the super fast Shane Mosley to deal with a race car in there.
And that's exactly what he's doing. He stands there and waits to be hit.
Has no chance unless he can somehow get inside and mix it up. Get inside, get to the body, get.
I guess the theory tonight is the main event can't miss.
I got to tell you something. The rules say.
But led with the left hand anyway out of the southpaw stance. Now he goes back to his conventional stance. Or maybe Cotto just wants to regularly make that a part of his game. He did it against Juuko too. Larry always feels as though
and if you have the ability to change, yes, you should change. But not many fighters do.
Get this guy anywhere he can. He's not just aiming at the chin.
Don't let that bother you.
That was before the previous round. Well, at this point in time, it probably doesn't matter, but you fight enough of those fights.
George, we always know what that means, don't we?
That means that hurts.
Got the package, doesn't overreach. This kind of punishment from Cotto.
He has everything, but he doesn't seem to know how to fight tonight.
He's just...
Somewhere down the road, there's a construction work career waiting for John Brown, who's done it all in construction, he told us.
Except perhaps by Mosley.
That worked just then.
It's so quiet in here, we could be in a... Because they just want to see the fight, but Felix Trinidad, who had been scheduled to be here.
Break, step back clean, fellas. Come on.
And come, apparently.
Well, just as Daniel Alicea lauded his fellow Puerto Rican, the boxers we've spoken to, in supporting Trinidad.
that he was looking to see if De La Hoya would win and have a big money fight with him. De La Hoya told me yesterday that he thinks that Trinidad is just aiming for a better negotiation that would give him a better and bigger slice of the pie in a rematch.
That's possible.
That's very possible. I'm just reporting what
about matchmaking with his promoter Don King.
I feel like unretiring.
Well, that happens. That'll make my right hand a factor in the fight. Well, given that the straight right to both the body and the head is probably Brown's best punch, I'm not sure Cotto helps himself by turning southpaw against him.
No, it's not.
What's the learning experience from this for Cotto, George?
Well, you're in there with a guy who's a world-class fighter in your weight class. You get him out, you don't let him shake you in the latter rounds, and good things can happen.
And you find out that some guys just won't be knocked out.
6-0, 60-53, Miguel Cotto. Jim, a couple of things. Number one, in round 6, which really bothered Cotto. Another thing about changing southpaw, Jim, when he changes southpaw, he loses that snap to the jab because he can't snap a right jab. He can snap a left jab.
Brown is a black belt, using some other tactics as this fight moves to its final stage.
You're referring to his height or his martial arts background? He's black belt high.
John Brown saying, okay, you want to use me to enhance a young fighter's
win every round, do it in a good fashion, go to the body to make certain he doesn't have power to hurt you in the latter rounds. That's what he should be doing there. Just concede the knockout just may not happen. You've given him your best. It can get pretty scary.
Very apprehensive about Brown's head. They make clear they want that credential. Oh yeah, I totally agree with that.
But you start wondering after 8 rounds, you don't want to lose your juice for the 10th round.
I just can't imagine this particular prospect getting hung up on the notion of having to knock John Brown out. Seems to me he walks away from a decision just as happy. So I may be overrating that placid exterior of his, huh?
Yeah, beat this man to the body, go up and go down to search for a knockout. You're right. I didn't understand it. I'm sorry.
If Brown makes a mistake.
Brown make the right mistake.
The first titanium punch in boxing history. Golf clubs. We are in the calm before the expected storm of the main event.
You're watching rising Puerto Rican 140-pound prospect Miguel Cotto, Olympic star.
Buckled the knees of Brown with a right hand, I believe, and has him hurt. All of whom have judged various fights of Vargas's and De La Hoya's. A non-controversial way.
And frankly, if those judges were judging a fight like Louis Rockman, you might say, well, so what? The fight isn't likely to go the distance anyway. But most ringside experts,
and the referee, of course,
20 out of 21 pick De La Hoya, most of them by decision. So the majority saying this fight's going to go the distance and the judges will decide it.
Seek out a knockout.
I think he wants it. Round 9 of a scheduled 10.
Guys got heart. All he had to do is fight.
As Cotto has gotten more offensive-minded, dropped his hands and left an opening for Brown to land one. And still continues to lead with the left hand out of his southpaw stance. Once again,
he's in with a pro with a lot of savvy.
Trying for the tiny moral victory of making young Cotto go 10 rounds. If you want to tilt with Garcia for you're gone, because Garcia, in effect,
Ndou had his exit a couple of years ago.
Not a tough fight to score. 9-0, 90-79 is whether a round without a knockdown is 10-9 or 10-8. Because when he staggered John Brown at the end of the round, I called it a 10-8 round. The rest of them 10-9, except the second, where he gets an extra point for the knockdown.
Harold, that's the most interesting thing that's happened in this fight. Cotto is giving it an effort. He is still live and trying.
9 knockouts in 11 fights going in to finish a 10-round fight.
I think that's very important. That's the best thing that ever happened to him. He's gone 10 rounds. He knows exactly what he can do.
As Larry Merchant pointed out, perhaps eventually to move to welterweight. particularly a strong possibility in light of the fact that he weighed in at 139.5 27 hours ago.
But surely not the dynamic puncher that had the rare ability to turn around a fight with one punch against almost any opponent.
Is going to rack up an easy victory to stretch his career mark to 12-0.
All for the winner by unanimous decision, still undefeated, Miguel Angel Cotto.